Hello and welcome back to the Level 30 Podcast, or welcome to the Level 30 Podcast if you're joining us for the first time. My name is Tom, and I'm here to say supskis to Joe, sitting across from me.
Supskis.
On the video podcast. And we're welcoming back Kevin.
Hello.
Who was mysteriously absent for our last podcast, but has rejoined us now. Mysteriously. No, he had absolutely zero, if not negative words to say about Pokemon, and said, I'm sitting this one out. But we welcome him back.
I actually had things to do.
Oh, well, that's fine too.
Like not talking
But
about
was
Pokemon?
one of those
Yes.
Pokemon?
No.
Well, then there you go. So welcome back. Glad to have you both down here today. As we sit down in the
You're in the freezer.
the cold, frigid months of December. Not only is it like 20 degrees outside, inside my studio it's like 40 degrees, which is
bad.
technically warmer, but it's not somehow
gosh.
better.
Remember when we used to sweat under these lights?
Yes, I
Yes.
do.
Not
Back
anymore.
in
Not
June,
now.
June and July. So we're here today in the frigid cold to take
Talk about games.
Talk about games. Take a look back through the year that was 2019 in the world of video games and gaming, as there was a lot of stuff going on, but at the same time, not that much stuff.
And there was a lot, just nothing that big or crazy or out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
And I feel like a lot of stuff was spoiled too. Like
Well-
we knew about a lot of it beforehand. It kind of killed the hype.
Yeah, and I think it was a lot of. I think this is just a product of, and there were some great games this year. I think we're in that. Sony's winding down on PS4 and Microsoft's winding down on Xbox One. So we're gonna get a few push of things in the spring, but
Just enough to keep sales going.
yeah, I'd have to
Yeah.
imagine there's gonna be a big ramp up for like launch titles come November when these new systems come out. So we'll see. I don't know what they're gonna launch with, but I'm sure it'll be something.
We'll
really
probably get a ton of
pretty
news
looking.
at E3 this coming
Oh,
year.
yeah, oh, yeah.
It's probably going to
well,
be
Sony
a really
skipped
big
it
E3.
last year for the sole purpose of just like, hey, we got everything
What's the
that's
point?
coming out about, so we're just not going to come. And
Do you think they may do their own events too before E3?
they've started. Sony started
Yeah.
kind of a Nintendo Direct. They call it the State of Play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually like more focused on, well, not bigger titles, but like, hey, here are 5 titles that we can talk a little bit, as opposed to some of the Nintendo Directs throughout the years where it's like, here's a bunch of info, and then 15 seconds later, here's a brand new thing, and then 10 seconds later, teaser trailer? Question mark? And then some weird dude snapping his fingers to the
DLC.
which sound effect. Yeah, it's
I
just
love that.
rapid fire news, which was always kind of cool. We'll talk about some of those E3s as we move through the year together. But I wanted to quickly touch upon the Game Awards that we discussed a little bit last time. They aired, or they streamed, I guess.
They happened.
They happened.
Yeah, and
Nothing
that was
really airs
kind
anymore.
of it. Well, I mean, Jeff made a point to tell us that they were streaming on 50 different platforms
Twice.
as often.
I
No,
counted it twice. Did he say? Did
He said it a lot more than that,
Did he?
and it wasn't just him. I mean, it was the other hosts as well, like everybody else who was out there. But like, I remember there were like 3 cutaways, and then he came back, and every single time he goes, "We're live on 50 platforms." Like, I don't want to like knock on the guy. Like, I genuinely like him as a
He was
personality.
probably amped for it.
So yeah, I'm sure
It
he
was
was
really cool
stoked.
seeing him tweet out like behind the scenes stuff like the week leading up to it.
Mm.
Just like, here I am at home editing like the final sizzle reel trailer. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool that he's like that hands on with it.
Yeah.
But we all watched it. Did you have a preferred streaming platform that?
I mean, I try not to watch things on YouTube, just personal reasons, but I pulled it up on YouTube because I have a Roku, so
Oh,
I
okay.
use the YouTube app and it lets me watch it on a TV rather than a computer screen, and means I can move around and be,
I had
about
YouTube,
the apartment.
yeah, on the PlayStation. I of course didn't have the chat open, but that's part of the reason
Oh,
why
yeah, I closed the
just
chats.
yeah.
Don't have the chat open in
No.
YouTube. It's just not.
No,
I mean, it flies
no.
by so quickly,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's for lack of better word, it's toxic.
Yeah, that's why I stayed away from Twitch as well. So, so some, I guess some things that came out of the Game Awards, at least some of the awards that came out of the Game Awards, which were sprinkled throughout very randomly, it seemed.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like they were at first. I felt like they were trying to get like the small awards out of the way, like the things that like people didn't care about quite as much.
Yeah.
they were trying to get them out, and then they just kept doing that with all the awards, and I'm like,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
announced
all right,
like 3
so it's mini
award
E3.
winners in the countdown.
Yeah,
to,
in the pre-show.
yeah. Right,
Which I was
'Cause
like,
there was
what?
the countdown till it starts, and then it started, and there was a separate countdown, and they announced like 3 awards there, 2 of which were technical, one of which was best fighting game that Smash won because Doug Bowser showed up to
Accept it. Yeah.
take that tank of a trophy home.
I feel like the show was not so much about the awards; it was about the announcements this year.
I think that's why everyone
Yeah,
tuned in, and
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think if that's the hook to get people to watch and pay attention, I think that's really cool because
As long as they keep calling it the Game Awards, they should continue to have awards. But it should be like it shouldn't be like like this year was fine, but it shouldn't be any less than what they did this year as far as awards go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like it's
Yeah.
the Game Awards with 2 awards and 70 presentations and stuff. It just give me the awards.
How did you
Yeah.
guys feel about the 3 little concert things? Well, you didn't watch all of it, did you?
I tuned out a little early because it was
you
a
watch all
weeknight.
that?
Yeah, I did.
I did see
3 musical
Churches.
performances.
I saw Churches' performance. Who else played?
Green Day performed.
Green Day was the
Okay, I
last
missed
one that
that.
performed.
Yeah.
What did they play?
They played a
Welcome
couple
to
songs.
Paradise and like one single, I think, from some new album coming out.
Yeah.
Good to know. Impressed.
And then they
what other
advertised
thing?
that some of their tracks are going into Beat Saber.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I heard
yeah.
about that, which is funny because I think it was Engadget, which again don't want to knock on Engadget because I do really like them, but they said like Green Day songs are going to be in Beat Saber because it's 1998 again, and then
Okay.
like 4 of the 7 songs were from new albums, and then the other 2 were still from later albums, like they weren't that old.
I'm fine with that.
But-
I freaked out. I mean, Green Day is one of my favorite bands, and when they put Green Day, they had like Green Day Rock Band. I was all over that hardcore.
Yeah, that's true.
But that was also right after the peak that was collecting
It was
plastic instruments to play with.
dying at that
So-
point.
It was, but I still enjoyed putting some of those Green Day songs in there. Yeah, I think it was fine. I was a little
it was all
underwhelmed
right.
with the announcements.
Yeah, me too.
I
But
have
as
the
long
list
as it
of them
doesn't
open.
cross that line into here's like awards sprinkled through 3 hours of commercials.
Oh my god.
yeah.
Which I think is a very fine line to walk, and I think they did okay with it. I think we've come to accept E3 as a like, hey, this is what you're gonna buy soon kind of thing.
Yep.
And so I think this did enough to bring in people to watch, to look for those announcements, but also put the emphasis on the performances and the people that were there to present and show up and the games themselves. I think once it starts to lose that focus is when it becomes a spectacle and kind of loses some of its integrity. So kudos to the team that did it. And if you didn't watch it, obviously you can track out what the big announcements were.
Yeah, I mean, you really just type in the Video Game Awards, and the first article I got is Kotaku, and I think they missed a couple things because I vaguely recall some stuff that's not on this list. But I mean,
look.
2 internet searches, and you're going to find everything that was really announced.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting when you see something like this, as opposed to all the news that comes out of E3 or Nintendo Directs or Sony State of Plays, is that like this is a good reminder that there's such a wide breadth of people that play games as a whole, and most of these announcements, like within 30 seconds, I was like, I'm not interested in this. But there's probably millions of people that go, oh my God, this was the greatest thing I saw all night.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a cool little, like, get out of your bubble and realize that games exist beyond only what you're interested in. And I found that to be like a really cool kind of side effect of just watching through some of this stuff.
I got to say though, it seems like there's less, if any at all, like casual gaming on the Game Awards. Like E3 had a somewhat decent amount of casual games. I don't even remember off the top of my head what was announced, but they do seem to cater to like everybody, and letting you know like what's going to be out there, even if you're not like a hardcore gamer.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that's just because E3 topically, as far as like
E3 is huge.
games entertainment industry is so well known
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
the this is what we're going to look to, and maybe people are more interested as to what comes out of that than something like the Game Awards.
Absolutely, and it's not a bad thing that they have casual gaming and stuff on it. I just,
not at all.
just making the observation that like the Game Awards just seem to be for more hardcore gamers.
Yeah, which I think is true of any. I mean, even if you look at the Academy Awards, I mean, a lot of people don't watch the Academy Awards, and there's a lot of references in those, things to films for the year. And if you don't go to or see a lot of movies, you might miss some of that stuff. But the big audience that tunes in every year to watch that is going to catch those things and enjoy those things a little bit more. So I think it's a little bit more focused to the gamer audience as opposed to, hey, random news outlet from some small city, like E3 is happening, and they'll probably report on it. But this may be a
So
little
many
bit
people report on E3 now.
right. I
people
think
that
this
never
might be a
used
little
to.
bit more niche, which
Yeah.
is part of the charm, I think, despite its growing size every year. So we'll see what happens.
This is the 5th year, right?
Is it?
5th year Game Award? I think it was the 5th year.
So Kevin, I know you want to talk about something that came out of this as what I think we agreed on
Why?
is for at least us, the biggest
announcement?
surprise for us.
The No More Heroes 3 trailer.
Yes.
/ anime that Joe just watched.
Yeah, so we sat Joe down to watch it.
I didn't realize it was. I did watch the trailer actually before. I didn't realize I watched it because I think I missed like the last like minute or so of it. That might have been when I was tuning out, but didn't realize what it was because I haven't played No More Heroes, so it didn't match what I had expected of No More Heroes. I just sat there.
Doesn't.
No,
it matches a Suda 5-1 game, but you. For 4.5 minutes, you're like, what the hell's going on?
And that was exactly what I did for 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Even at the end, I was a little confused, but
I
less
thought
so.
when it first aired, I thought it was a sequel or like upgrade
I
to
thought it was like a Ni no
Boy and his
Kuni-ish
Blob
or
because it
something.
looked like the Blobish character and the kid were like pulled from that Sega game. But I was pleasantly surprised. So if you
Yes.
haven't seen the full 5-minute version of the No More
it is bizarre.
Heroes 3
great.
trailer, watch it, question everything you just saw, and then hopefully like. I don't know. Look up the other games. They're really, really good, and they never sold well. But
They're great.
yeah, I think they're fantastic.
And when Suda51 was asked about porting them, I think Game explained it in a video interview with him. He was like, "Do you want that?" He was
Yes,
like,
we do.
"Oh, we'll talk about it." I'm like, "Yes, I want both of them."
Yeah.
Again, now.
I'm surprised this is actually like a real thing since they said, "Oh, we don't know." So maybe Nintendo's giving some money. We'll see.
Oh, they totally are.
So some of the big winners, I guess. I mean, Game of the Year, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice was Game of the Year, which was kind of a surprise. I know it was in a lot of outlets' top 10, but never seemed to crack like the top 5. I think it was Polygon's Game 5.
It's one of those games that like I didn't hear a lot about, but anything I like after release, but anything I did hear about it was good. Like I didn't hear anything
Yeah, it's
bad about the
definitely
game.
it piqued my interest because of the setting, but now even more so. I'm just like I kind of want to play it.
It looks good. And, I mean, it looks
beautiful.
gorgeous.
It's a Souls game at heart, but it takes place in Japan, and I think the whole aesthetic I think looks beautiful. So Smash Brothers did not win Game of the Year, but it did win Best Fighting Game. Astral Chain won nothing, which is bummer. But Luigi's Mansion was the winner for Family Game, which was basically a Nintendo category.
Yeah, that was a Nintendo award no matter what.
Yeah, which Jeff kind of made a off-the-cuff joke about as
Yeah.
he presented it.
Now, what does that really come down to? Like best family game, as in best game that your parents can sit behind you and watch, and they won't like freak out about it. Best game that
I
parents
saying
can.
that the family's
The whole family
involved.
can enjoy, or
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not multiplayer, is it?
Luigi's Mansion
some of
3
those
is,
games
yeah.
were multiplayer in there.
Like, is the whole game?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, after the first hour. Once you can get Gooigi,
Okay.
player 2 can play as Gooigi.
For the entirety of
Yes,
the game.
yes.
Okay. Interesting. All right, I guess I can see what's a family
Which
game.
is fine. I mean, it's more suited for
haven't
best
even
family
started
game
mine
than
yet.
Ring Fit and stuff. It's an excellent game. That's why even I mentioned it in made my top 5 for the year. Rightfully so. I think it was excellently done. And yeah, really good. Were there any other takeaways from the awards show worth mentioning right now?
Bravely Default 2 got a trailer.
Yeah, could
but
you-
was kind of announced in the past at some point, I feel. Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, go for it.
I like vaguely remember. I remember the team.
I think I asked you. I was like, didn't they kind of
Yeah.
maybe announce this? Not like announce it, but like, oh,
The
we're
dev
considering
team-
working on it.
It was known the dev team was working on something.
Okay.
So people were like, well, it's probably Bravely Default sequel. Because they did that. Then they did Octopath Traveler. And then I was
Right.
like, what would they do next? So
I'm kind of
I didn't
curious the naming of it because it's called Bravely Default 2, but there's already a second Bravely Default.
Bravely.
Bravely. Isn't it called Bravely Second?
Yeah.
Like it was a DS game and it was a sequel.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this means from a
I don't
story
know.
standpoint.
I
I
didn't
never
play
got
them.
into those games as much as I wanted to.
The art style like throws me off.
I thought the art style was beautiful personally, but
Yeah, Bravely second.
yeah, Bravely Second. Sorry, I was butchering the name. Braverly is not correct or accurate.
Bravely.
Braverly. Shut up. Kevin. So yeah, so that was last week. You can check out the highlights, check out the news that came from the Game Awards.
Do we want to prod at the Xbox?
Do we want to? Oh yeah, we probably should.
Series
just a
X.
little bit.
The,
I think it's going to be towards the end of our rundown, but yeah, jump in there.
I mean, everybody's saying the same thing about it. That it looks two things. One, it looks like like a mini
Well,
ITX
so to
PC.
preface this, like it almost seemed very casually, Microsoft was like, "Hey, look at all these cool games we got coming," and then just like very slyly snuck in,
Jeff is like, you weren't expecting this.
and here's what here's what the next Xbox looks like, and
Yeah.
everyone is like, "Wait a minute, go ahead."
Oh, I mean, it looks super tiny. I mean, you can judge, but because if you look at the like the disk drive on it, it goes halfway up the machine, so it's like the size of like two CD cases.
Yeah.
So it looks really small. Which I mean, realistically, the power that you can pack into a computer that size is pretty massive now. So they can do the same thing for an Xbox, and I mean, it's a company like Microsoft. They're going to be able to do it. But the name is what's throwing me and everybody else off. But I did see somebody make an interesting point. So it's called the Xbox Series X. Because they're just adding way too many X's to the name, and to me, it's a terrible idea because there's
like weird
Xbox One, which was already confusing because that's different from the original Xbox.
It's Xbox 360 and
But-
Xbox One.
Yeah.
No, I know, but my
Right?
point is that there's Xbox One, which is different than the original Xbox. Like it's
The OG Xbox.
Yeah. It's it should be Xbox One, Xbox Two if we're being logical. So Xbox One is different than there's Xbox One X. Now there's Xbox Series X. It's going to be hard for people who don't know better to tell the difference between the One X and the Series X.
Yeah,
But somebody
probably.
did make a good point that it's probably not a console in itself. It is a line of consoles.
Ecosystem.
Yeah,
So
so
there's
it's-
going to be Xbox Series Y, and it's going to be like a.
Not necessarily that. It's going to be the Xbox, just bear with me, it's going to be the Xbox 720 as part of the family of the Series X. This is a Series,
Series X family
Xbox,
of consoles.
but there's like 3 or 4 that belong to the Series X
Oh,
Xbox.
so do you think not at one time though, just over time? So do you think this is a transition to this is going to be the Xbox One X, Xbox 2X, Xbox 2XS, like kind of like they can kind of get back on a normal numeric naming convention?
I think it's going to fit in the way it does, pretty much the way it does now. They're just doing a family to kind of unify it. So now there's the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, the One X, and then there's the all digital Xbox. So all of those are the same generation.
Yeah.
So now they're differentiating the generation by saying, hey, all of the Series X Xboxes are the same generation when they come out. So there's no confusion between the One and the One S. They're the same. They do the same thing in the end. They're the same console
I
in
guess.
the end.
I mean, Nintendo
So-
differentiated by just adding the word super in front of everything. So by this logic, it's right on point.
Yeah, so that's my opinion. I could be totally off base, but that's what seems to make the most sense. But realistically, it's going to be confusing if they were to do anything else. But in the end, I think they got the wrong team to do naming and design. I don't think it looks bad. I just don't think it looks
It's
right.
different.
Yeah, it
That's why we
is.
don't know. That's why everyone's like, oh, because it's very different than a console we're used to looking at.
I do think it's going to look better in person, though, because I mean, if you go online and look at like people with small form factor PCs, they're plain and they're boring, but they look fantastic because they're so small and you fit that much computing power into one.
I mean, it looks like the size of like a Sonos speaker.
Yeah, and you're gonna be able, to sit this right next to your TV or in your entertainment system, and it's just gonna be this tiny little black box that's pretty
black box, dude.
nondescript, and you can just toss a disc in it and play. And I think it's a little silly, and overall it is bigger than the one, the original one. All of them actually.
Yeah.
It's bigger than all of them, but it's a nice looking shape. Like it's okay, but it'll probably be better looking and more sleek when we finally see it in person and an actual device in store rather than like a render.
I wonder if the power supply is going to be built in.
I hope so, but they have a habit of not doing that on the first generation or at all.
Why would you want the power supply built in?
Because that brick that lies behind your TV is so freaking huge.
Yeah,
And
but
it's-
wouldn't the
warm
power
and-
supply add more heat inside of it?
Yeah, but I mean the PlayStation's always done that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they at this
When-
point they
when
can
my
find a way to
entertainment
manage the
center
heat.
is like
I mean, the Switch-
an inch from the wall.
Switch-
Putting a big
Switch
power
gets
brick
hot.
back there is just a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Also, I think
And
it's
it
a
makes
fire
traveling
hazard.
with the system a pain in the butt too. Like the
Yeah.
PlayStation or even Xbox now, the S I have, I love that I can unplug it and basically use any plug that fits and just move it to a different room or take it home. There's just a lot less to carry.
Yeah.
It
silly
also
thing, but-
it helps out because they have to vent the power supply because it gets so hot.
Yeah.
Put it in one and let the whole system vent at the same time.
Right.
But it's a fire hazard because people tend to put those on carpets, and something that runs so hot that it needs a vent should not be sitting on the carpet.
Agreed. Put pure fire on the carpet and let that run.
Don't do that.
Oh no, don't. Oh, okay.
Don't
That's how we powered the rest of the
Disclaimer,
world
do
for
not
Disclaimer, don't
light
do
your
what
living
Tom
room
just
on
said.
fire. Please do not.
That's a good
Especially with
disclaimer to
your
have.
amiibo in it.
We should start every show with
Where
that.
are your amiibo? You
Save
said you
them.
were going to bring them.
Remember when I said I just got back here? I wasn't running up and down to my room to get
Oh,
my amiibo.
so many stairs. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
a lot of stairs and hallways.
Disappointed.
I'm too.
I was gonna bring my
hoping to see
Master
some.
Sword from Breath of the Wild instead, actually.
I was going to bring my Master
So
Sword.
be more
replica.
disappointed.
I can actually stab you with it. I wouldn't do that.
I was just gonna sit here and look pretty.
I'll bring my Master Sword and Hero Shield, not Hero Shield. The Hylian Shield.
All right, so Kevin and I in the next
we're gonna have a
podcast
duel.
are going to have a duel
We're gonna have a
with
duel.
our respective Zelda replica shields.
What's your replica sword made of?
Metal.
Is it metal?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Mine's like foam, but it's
Adamantium,
officially
actually.
made by Nintendo, so mine will win.
Mine is
Here's a knockoff.
from China.
Exactly.
That was a gift from students.
mine's
So I
better.
will not.
That is cool. Don't use that.
I won't use it.
use
It's
that.
very cool. They got me
I'll
a
bring
shield to match.
one of the foam ones.
Very happy day.
Sorry,
Joe's laughing
Joe.
at us.
Thank
Where's
you,
your
everyone.
master
Joe, yeah,
sword?
what kind of replicas do you have, Joe?
None.
Okay.
You don't have anything from Metal Gear or Borderlands? No
I
fun
have
replicas?
You got a little
both.
claptrap?
I do have a little claptrap, pop figure claptrap, but I have both loot chests from Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3.
See, he has replicas.
I
He
do.
does.
Good.
Good.
Thank
for
you, everyone, for sticking, with us through all of that.
Joe, since episode 1 of our podcast, which started in August,
I don't know.
something like that, has been mentioning
just here.
Borderlands 3, and it comes up without fail every time. And that's
I
okay.
didn't even bring it up.
I brought it up.
It wasn't even me this time.
And
Yeah.
Gian.
I'm more likely to bring up Metal Gear.
All right. Well, if anyone out there is starting a level 30 podcast drinking game, Joe
I'm
said
not.
Metal
'cause
Gear.
it's
And
Family Channel.
we teeter. We teeter.
I know. What are we talking about?
I don't know. We've got off
Games.
track there, big time. Big time.
Games.
Speaking of Family Channel, have you noticed on Press Start that Mike? I stopped going through and censoring Mike now. So now,
I have noticed that.
yeah. Someone made a comment and said, "Oh, this is great. Please don't do this ever again. You can just fully let go." And I kind of agree.
go.
Okay, so getting back on track finally. Let's move through our year of 2019 together. Talk about the highs. Talk about the lows. Talk about things that you probably forgot actually happened. And this is not a complete
How are
list.
we going to talk about those?
We're gonna
forgot
go,
it happened.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
Oh,
that.
okay.
This is not a complete list by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously skews a little Nintendo. But that's also because primarily, for me personally, I thought they had the strongest year out of all the
I don't play the other ones, so.
Well, again, everybody else is winding down.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
sorry to
not to
cut you off,
say,
Kevin.
and there
Okay.
were PlayStation games that I finished that I thought about putting in my top 5 video review, which if you haven't seen, please go watch. It's a short one. I cut out the superlative reviews at the end, or awards at the end, and it's streamlined, but check that out.
Wait, hold on. Brain just.
Go for
Alien
it.
Isolation came out on the Switch. You played that, didn't you?
I
On something
haven't,
else?
but I'm kind of intrigued by it.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to play that over break.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I cannot wait to play that game. Lights off, late at night. Scary.
That's something I want to play in VR.
Cannot wait. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Is it out on VR?
I think it is. I think it was like a big deal that it was coming out on VR because it's
Really?
like the scariest game to
Yeah,
play in
I'm
VR
gonna
because all of a
try.
sudden it's just
I'm gonna
on
try.
your
I'd
face.
see if my cousin can get
I'm
that
gonna
on
try.
his VR set. Then that'd be so
Um,
cool. Sorry, I just saw it pop up on my screen. I'm
No, that's
researching
quite
games.
all
I
right.
was like, I
That's quite
downloaded
all
that.
right. I just took down some of the bigger ones that came out month to month. Doesn't necessarily mean we played them all,
Right.
played any of them, or but probably worth mentioning at least because there's a lot of stuff that came out, and I don't know about you guys. Well, I know about Kevin a little bit. Sometimes Kevin and I, we just it's a release date for a big Nintendo game, and without even thinking about it, our wallets are already open, and we're
Here, take our
buying these
money.
things. So we started the year off fairly strong, although questionably so, as we get a re-release or a update or remake or port of New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe
Wait.
Supreme.
That's not what it's called.
It's close to that. It was the one that came out. New Super Mario Brothers
U Deluxe.
Deluxe.
Switch.
Yes. Switch
Plus
version.
Luigi something something blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Which was a game that was a launch title on the Wii U when it came out in 2012. So it's certainly been a while since. Yeah,
That was a launch title.
it was a launch title.
Really?
Yes, it was. Because that was one of the few launch titles I got
Wow,
with my copy of Nintendo Land.
that was my least favorite new Super Mario
It had
Bros.
run
game.
a little stale by that point.
No.
I thought you were gonna hit me.
Oh,
No, I'm
Joe's,
so sorry.
Joe's
No.
dissenting.
Oh.
I don't know. I guess
it the
maybe it
gold
doesn't
one?
count it
No,
Is that
that
your
was
least
on
favorite?
DS.
on DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on DS. That is it might be the only bad Mario game. It is horrendous. Like it's an embarrassment. It's so bad. There's like 2 power-ups the entire game.
And both of them give you
And
coins.
yeah.
dude, I was so excited to buy it. 'Cause I was like, you know what? It's been a really long time since I've
Yep.
played a Mario game. I'm just gonna go out and buy this one. And I played. I'm like, what am I? I think I returned it.
I was gonna say I was working at Best Buy at the time, and I went up to the customer service and I was like, "Look, I know I opened this, but it's really. Could you just return it?" And they were like, "Yeah, not a problem." And I was like, "Okay." I've never done that for
Yeah.
a Nintendo
Wow.
game, let alone a mainline Mario game.
That's a game after I played though. I never went back to it.
No.
'Cause I like
it was
finished it. And I was
Boring.
like,
There was
"Ah."
no point in going back to it.
Well, so when I did the review for the Switch version, I booted up the Wii U version because they're identical except for some small graphical tweaks. But it was enough to refresh to do a review on. The first few levels are so easy. I mean, worlds are so simple that there's really no like challenge.
Yeah.
Now it does get like I remember playing the Wii U version with friends and family when there's 4 people on a screen, and I think if they did anything, it continued the lineage of. All right, here's Mario, but now there's Mario with 4 people,
And they added
that
chat.
it can be really fun because you
Yeah.
can like pick up your teammates and like throw them off a cliff, and
Yeah.
like there's definitely some fun to be had there. I just don't think it has a lot of longevity.
The problem is it gets unless everybody's like really in like it's pushed as a family game, but unless everybody really wants to play it, it dies out very quickly.
Yeah.
Like I've tried playing it with my girlfriend a couple times, and it went the same way every single time. We did one level, got a little mad, but we got through it. Second level, got a little mad, got through it. Third level, she just kept dying, and I got to the point where I'd pick her up
and,
just run through the
carry her.
level, and I'd play the whole level just holding her on my head. And for the first level, it's funny. After the second one, she would go, "Can you just put me down?" Like, no, because I want to finish this level.
Right,
Like, if
right.
we're gonna play the game, we're gonna play the game.
So started off the year strong with that, which was good because we got new Super Mario. Wait, hold on, Mario Maker 2 later in the year, which kind of makes the new Super Mario Brothers game standalone obsolete.
Yeah.
Like between the two, why would you even buy that?
Get Mario Maker.
Tales of Vesperia came out, which Joe did a review on, and Travis
did.
Strikes Again came out, which Kevin did a review on. Kevin, that
He
was
sure did.
That was a review you did in January.
That was my only
That was your
review.
only review for the year.
I've been busy.
Yeah,
You gotta ramp it up.
So has
Yeah.
Tom.
Well, when there's new games in 2020, I'll do some reviews.
All right, we're gonna have you do Tokyo Mirage. Sessions,
No, that's yours.
Sharp FE.
That's yours.
When it comes
Because
out
I
in
have zero
January.
interest in that game. That's your baby.
All right, I'll do it.
Don't act like you weren't going to do it anyway.
I'm going to try. I have it on the Wii U. I just never opened it. So those are the 3 big titles, and all 3 of which actually have reviews on our channel. Boom! Look at that.
Plug.
See how I did that? Plug. Check those out if you're interested in any of those titles. Joe, I don't think Tales of Vesperia stuck with us much longer than the first few hours.
No spoilers.
No.
Kevin hasn't played it yet.
Oh no!
We'll watch the review.
No, I want to play the game.
So
Kevin.
I have it. It's
was-
it's on my backlog.
it was fun for
quick recap.
It was fun for what I played. And I enjoyed my time with it, I guess, and I enjoyed the music, and the playstyle was fun, especially for an RPG knowing its actual age rather
Yeah.
than it being a new game. But once I completed the review, I didn't really feel compelled to keep playing. Like, oh yeah, that was a good game,
tried.
but there's a lot of other games I'd rather be playing
The
right
pace
now.
was so slow that it was almost like too slow.
It does have a slow start. It's very similar to, and I don't want to, I love this game, but it's very similar to Legend of Legaia,
Oh, okay.
which I mean, I love that game, but it has such a weird, strange intro. And then, I mean, it's like a lot of other RPGs. It's a very guided intro, even if it's slow. And then it opens up and you do whatever you want. But sometimes you can't do that. Like, you need to give some people some direction. And Legaia is just like, go figure out whatever you want to do. And we'll tell you if you're right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Legaia still is the
Again.
best fighting system ever. Just
Travis Strikes Again, another title that I got through like 3 of the in-game
I didn't
games
finish it.
and didn't finish it. It was cool. Like it definitely had Suda's mark, but it wasn't a traditional No More Heroes game, which is fine because now we know that we're definitely getting one and hopefully next year. So that's kind of a nice holdover piece. I might go back and play it when the 3rd one gets closer or a firm date. As they said, there are some story elements that
I'm not going back to play
Okay.
Travis Strikes Again. I'm hoping that we get a Portal 1 and 2.
that would be fantastic.
I'll play that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then
Especially
Joe will
with
too, because it's amazing.
It's really good.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll play
Especially
it
once when Gina,
Please
your
release that.
Your girlfriend will come home and find you doing the motion that you need to charge up the sword katana. And
I do not want to know what
Katana.
that motion
It's
is.
you know
hilarious.
exactly what that
It's
motion is
hilarious.
without
Oh,
us even
boy.
needing to say.
And you save the game by going to the bathroom.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Game's crazy.
Anyway, moving on to February, we finally got the long-awaited indie title War Groove, which was excellent, actually.
That was February?
That was February.
I feel like it was
yeah,
last year.
Well, it had been in talks for a long time as when the release date was going to be, and they finally pegged it. This
yeah.
was meant to be if you miss Advance Wars, this is the game that you need to get into.
Didn't
really
they
do
wait a
miss
second?
Advance
Didn't they
Wars.
announce something about this at the Game Awards? I feel like I
think it was
saw
up
something
for- I
about
think it
this
was up for
recently.
best strategy
Was it up
game.
for? Okay.
Strategy game, yeah, because it does use that grid, that tactics-based, move your units and everything else.
Did it have a lot of competition? And I'm being serious. Like, I don't know. Did it actually have a lot of competition as far as tactical games go? Like, how many came out in the last year? And I know
Well,
it's
Fire
all the
Emblem.
consoles.
Fire Emblem
but
was
Fire
big
Emblem
one.
won that.
Yeah, I don't
not
remember
really
what else was in
surprised.
that category, but it
The
held
art
its
style of
own.
this is cool.
Yeah, the animation was really cool. You can have like dogs as units, and the animations are really awesome. Yeah, no, it was definitely a fun game. Big Nintendo Direct in February that focused primarily on Fire Emblem, which was cool for some of us that are into Fire Emblem. But the real news in this Direct came at the very end.
What was the news in that direct at the end?
Well, we were treated to a lovely,
Was that what I got excited for?
very lovely animation.
Da-na-na-na.
That would be it. Yeah, Link's Awakening
Oh,
was
yes.
announced in the beginning of the year. I don't remember on the top of my head if they actually had a release date yet, but the fact
don't
that
think
they
so.
announced it in February and then it came out in the same year is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's more than I expected.
Nintendo's trying to make sure they do that.
They've
as
been
often as
better at
possible.
saying, "Hey, here's a game that's coming out," and it's usually out within
a year.
within 5 to 6 months. Even I know a lot of the stuff in E3. They're like, "Hey, these will all be games that are out before the end of the year." And there's always the occasional like, "Oh, sometime next year."
Yeah.
If they're bigger titles, they want to get people excited about.
For.
But that was really cool. I think we had all freaked out when we first saw that announcement.
As soon as I saw that lightning bolt, I went, no
As soon as
way.
I saw the water, I was like, are they redoing Link's Awakening? So
Yeah,
it's like, what
there were
else
some
would this
really
be?
good
She's
reaction
so
videos out there of
excited.
people just losing their mind over that because it was kind of like no one saw that coming.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a really cool.
Yeah, I don't even remember like leaks or rumors about it. It was just, hey, this is happening,
Yeah.
and so excited.
Which is great because it's such an odd game in the series that
It
I think
really
a lot of
is.
people have
so
heard
much
about
fun.
and maybe haven't had an opportunity to play because of the limited capacity in which you could play it. Like I know it's available. The first time I played it was as a downloadable title on the 3DS.
Me too.
And even then, it was difficult and obtuse, and I needed a guide to get through most of it. But I think because it's one of those Zelda games that people go, "Oh yeah, Link's Awakening." No, I never played it. Like this was a really cool way to like get people psyched about it.
I had a
because
lot of fun
it
with
got
it.
everyone that
Great.
loves this game to start talking about this game.
and that's all I did for like months.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it last time. Like the moment the trailer was released, it was my
It was
wallpaper on my
yeah,
phone.
right.
Do you think can we speculate for a minute? Do you think they're going to redo the Oracle games like that? Because I'm
they
like,
Afraid of
own
doing
them?
too much wishful thinking.
I feel like Nintendo probably does own them.
I mean, Capcom.
Capcom co-developed or fully developed.
I mean, it's
think they developed and
Nintendo's
Nintendo
IP.
published.
Yeah.
So there's the argument that they're allowed to do anything they want with it.
Yeah. I
And
think
I'm
they
sure
can
they
do
wouldn't put that
anything they want
stipulation
with-
in.
I don't know. There's always been
to.
some weird gray areas. Like I know when they remade or redid Donkey Kong Country, they didn't own the rights to any of the characters in the game outside of
Kremlings,
Donkey Kong.
yeah.
So they had to redo all those characters and replace them.
Oh, wow.
So it was the same game, arguably, but they changed some things. So Zelda
Yeah.
might be a little bit different. We'll see. I think if they do, I think that'd be kind of awesome.
I mean, Capcom would be stupid to let that go if it's something Nintendo wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, look how well Link's Awakening did and how good it looked. Like, why would you not want to do another game like that?
Yes, they just need to.
Or they just use that engine and make a new game. That could be
I'm
the
cool
other.
with that.
Yeah.
I'm
I feel like the engine's
absolutely
made.
cool with that.
I don't know if they
I
do
wonder
that,
what they'll do with
though.
it.
I think because every Zelda game, with the exception of what
Ocarina of Majora's
Ocarina of
Mask.
Majora's Mask, they've always used a different style
Yeah. but
that
it's-
best suits the story and world. And it made sense given that this was a handheld title.
Yeah.
and it was very like
I mean, the Capcom ones
tongue-in-cheek
look
with
the
some
same.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They look so.
Because of the hardware
it's
limits.
possible.
It's-
I wouldn't stick my nose up at it. I'd be all in.
Yeah, it's a waste of a good engine and a good style for them to not use it again. And obviously, like you said, they do that with every Zelda game, but it absolutely is a waste to not do more games in that style. It just looks so good. It
was
really
very pretty.
does.
Yeah. No, I think I would give those a go. And Link's Awakening as a short adventure game, like I think if I get a hankering for a Zelda game in a year,
Jump
I
in and
can
play that again.
play that over a weekend.
Yeah, you
and
can jump
get
in and do a couple
frustrated
puzzles.
all over again.
If you haven't played the game, watch my review.
Yes, it's the longest review
And
in
play the
channel.
game.
and
But
then
it
play
was
the
so
game.
worth
Play
it.
the game.
So
really
that was
good
the big
game.
direct news in February. March brought us Yoshi's Crafted World as their big title. We're going to the bench for some of these releases this year. I mean, Zelda's a big one, but Yoshi?
I heard it was good.
I was excited for Yoshi.
I don't play Yoshi.
I don't want to say I was completely disappointed. Like, it was still a good game. It was a fun game. I mean, I played it straight through in like a week-ish.
Really? So you
yeah.
finished it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
finished
wow,
the
okay.
game. I mean, there's some end game stuff. There's some stuff to do at the end. Like, there's a whole other world that opens up, and there's a lot of replay value. Like, there's a lot of reasons to go back
collectibles
to
and things to
exactly.
get.
So, and you can play like pretty much every level backwards and whatever.
true.
So it's good for that, and it's good if you just want to jump in with like a cheap side scroller and play a little bit. But it just it
Did you say
wasn't
a cheap side scroller.
I did. It's good if you want to jump in for a side scroller.
I don't think that game's ever been on sale.
I mean,
but-
it's not inexpensive, but I mean, it's a good game that you can jump in, do 2 levels, and jump out of. You don't have to stick with it or anything. My problem was it just was not nearly as good as Yoshi's Woolly World, which to me was like perfect.
It's
really like that
hard to
one.
live up to Yoshi's Island, which was a stellar,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
game. I think this one I got halfway through and said, "Oh, I'll get back to it." Never got back to it.
I can see if I didn't play it straight through, and if I were to put it down and play another game, I probably would not have gone back to it.
I found the music very grating.
Really?
Like over time, I'm like, oh my god, it's almost like too like Blues Cluesy kind of preschooly toy box kind of stuff, and so I was just like,
Which is what the whole game's going for.
yeah, which again, it was adorable, and there were some really cute, charming elements. Like I loved when you went backwards and you saw the back of all the things and the tape that was holding stuff together.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the nutrition label on a can of beans or whatever. And I'm like, that's really cool. It doesn't make for a great game.
Yeah, I can see.
It was enjoyable.
Wears out its welcome
maybe
pretty quickly, though.
definitely a younger audience. I think maybe a 30-something.
Yeah.
Not much there to sustain our interest.
Yeah.
Like if they had a demo, I probably would have played it and said, okay, and they did have a demo,
for that one.
and I still bought it. I think they did have a demo. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Yeah, that came out the end of March. April brought us a few big games. Box Boy and Box Girl, which I don't know if you guys played those on the 3DS.
I
They
did
were
not.
I didn't
cool
play
little like platformer puzzle things.
Yeah.
Check those out. They're like I think it's like $10. It's awesome.
Did you play Katana Zero? Is that what it's on? Because I played that.
No, I put it there because I know you played
And it was
and you
cool.
said you really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So what's the premise?
I
of
didn't
that?
get to finish. Oh my gosh, the premise
The name of the
is
game of this podcast is here's a whole years of games that none of us have finished. But that's
no. It's the premise is you don't know what the heck's going on. You kind of figure it out. It's like a cool 2D action platformer, but there's a
Okay.
lot of crazy stuff going on, and there's decisions you make that affect the rest of the story slightly.
did you finish
It's
it through
cool.
the end?
No.
Okay.
I want to though. It's a cool game.
Okay, because if I've heard anything negative about this, everything you said I've heard across the board is
Yeah.
awesome. They say the ending, story-wise,
It's
is a
lackluster.
little disappointing.
And the gameplay's cool though.
Yeah.
Gameplay's really cool.
Um,
Um,
Mortal Kombat 11 was also a big title that came out in April as well, which was great for other platforms, but a little underwhelming on the Switch as it just didn't perform up to snuff. It's cool that it's there, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone out there got it for the Switch because that's the only means they have to play it. I'd love to hear what you thought if it was really painful to get through.
That's right. You do reviews for us now.
No, but I feel like I reply to every comment on the channel. So if people leave stuff, I'm there
Yeah.
responding. But it was a surprisingly slow, I guess, spring really between Yoshi and April.
Not to cut you off, but every like video I watch on YouTube that talk about this year is the first half of the year was slow, and the second half of the year ramped up release wise, as far as like big releases and
Well, yeah,
But,
and
uh,
figure.
So we're controversial.
Huh?
So we're controversial.
maybe I don't know.
Well, figure most of the big releases for other
Came out in
platforms
winter.
were big holiday pushes. So Nintendo had a slow trickle of stuff, but
Yeah.
like even at this point in the year, right at 5 months in, think of what this was like. We get one game on the Wii U. So the fact that there's tons of stuff to play, not to mention the indie games that seem to come out every other day.
Yeah.
There's always something. May slightly quieter. We got the big ones were Resident Evil.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
I hate what they're doing with these carts for Resident Evil, where it's like, oh, it's a dual or triple pack. One game's on there and you have to download the rest. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, I didn't
hate
know
that.
about that at first, and then like somebody pointed it out, and I think there's like a banner on the box or something.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
banner
that's
on the bottom of the
Yeah,
front
which
of the box.
ruins the box art.
ridiculous.
Exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you. I hate
But
that. I'm a big box art
it's
person.
a dumb idea. Just put them all on
Put them
one
on a
cart,
cart or put them on separate cards.
Yeah, there's no doubt the cart can fit all those games.
Actually, that's
I mean-
part of the problem. The reason why they're not is because they're not buying big enough cartridges because they cost more money. So, which is weird because I can't fathom these games are that large. But
Yeah.
like, I guess
I think
maybe they're even skimping down. I thought most Switch cartridges were by default 8 gigabytes, with the exception of
don't know.
some
That's it?
Well, I think some first party ones.
Okay.
Like I know Zelda to download Breath of the Wild was like 13, 14 gigabytes.
Wow.
So like that could fit on a 16 gigabyte Switch cartridge. But apparently third parties are like, well, I don't want to pay a premium for this, so we'll put something on the cart and then
And
here's the
download
code
the
for the
rest.
rest.
Shouldn't be my
Stupid.
problem. Yeah,
Well,
like it shouldn't
no.
be. We shouldn't have to cover that.
No, I agree with you. I would rather have it on the cart, but like,
Because now the reason I'm aggravated about it is I'm debating: do I want to buy one of these packs? Because Resident Evil 4 is on the cart, and that's the only one I really want to play.
well, so that was the same.
But I
with
think I downloaded
Final
it.
Fantasy. I was like, oh, X and X2, but
Mm-hmm.
X2 is a download. I wanted to play X. I can sell the code, right, for
That's true,
X2
you
if I
could.
wanted to, and someone could then download it. I don't know if you need the cartridge to play it though.
I
That would
doubt
be
it.
the thing. I hope not. I wouldn't
weird.
think so, but yeah, that's kind of a bummer with those. Big Direct in May. Well, not really Big Direct. It was a pseudo focus direct on
Yeah.
Mario Maker 2. It was like a 16-minute video announcing all the new features. The big one for that was multiplayer, both online and I think same screen. Now, Kevin, this was a game that we were like freaking gung ho for for like a week.
And then other stuff happened.
Like, what the hell happened?
I didn't even make a level. I 100% of story mode, and I think I made one
I didn't
level.
even do that.
That's it.
I started the work on a level for the sole purpose of trying to destroy you.
But we have the game.
Did you ever finish
And-
that?
Nope.
Wait, remember when we played my one level messed you up? I remember that.
The one that you made
That
on our
was
live
great.
stream?
Yeah.
Yes, that was the most I sat down.
And we were all
with that
hyped,
game.
and then that fizzled out quick. The
Yeah.
game is great. We just didn't have time.
Right.
And other stuff
on
came out.
On my Switch, it's like, oh, you played Mario Maker for 5 hours or more, but
Yeah.
4 of that was the live stream. So if that's any indication, that doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's a really great game. I just,
Got DLC recently.
randomly.
Yeah.
Kinda weirdly.
Like surprise.
I mean,
Links
they
in the
used to
game.
do like little things, but like, this one was pretty hefty.
Yeah. And people are saying that's pretty cool. So
Yeah, it
it
was.
changed up the gameplay.
It was a big part of the conversation over the summer, mainly because of the ability to share everything. And people were streaming it and just going through like nightmarish levels.
Like that tweet that won.
Yeah,
the Game
apparently
Awards thing.
Tweet of the Year is at
Yeah.
Game Awards now, and whoever
I
tweeted
regret
that-
nothing.
Yeah,
I remember when that tweet was out. That was funny.
I do. Yeah, and like the conversation around those human-made levels was awesome, and we were even like, oh man, this is gonna have endless streaming possibilities, and then just
It had
sat
one.
there.
But it has endless possibilities, Joe.
Okay, that's
We
fair.
just only did one.
Just one actual
Summer.
reality.
I'm wondering if that's
Winter
break.
break.
An example of a. Did we really not that we do we really need this or do we really want this? But is the idea of having all that excess Mario at our fingertips more appealing than actually going through and playing it?
Maybe. It's like, oh, I have it. So if it's there if I want it. Is
Because I was all
that kind of
like,
what you mean?
kind of like almost, and we'll get to it later in the calendar. But when are these Super Nintendo games coming to Switch? And they finally came, and I'm like, awesome.
Played none
This
of them.
is novel, and I not.
It's just like, I have them now.
yeah.
There's a term for that. I forget what it's called. It's like a psychology thing.
I don't know what it is, but I feel like I fall into that trap a lot where
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like, I gotta have it, and now I have it, I don't want to play it.
Like me with
But as soon
Amiibo.
as I lend this game to someone, I'll want to play it again. So if Joe, you want to borrow Mario Maker 2, it's not because you want to play it, it's because I want to play it. But by not having it, I'm going to want it back.
You
That's
wanna
fine.
back
If you want
play
to
it.
bring it in tomorrow, I'll bring it back to you on Wednesday.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I go, oh yes, and then I will not play it again.
Sounds about right.
June brought us our first Pokemon Direct, which was the look at the Galar region and the starters, which
Back when young Tom and young Joe were very excited for Pokemon.
that didn't really.
Your hype died later on, but you got excited when you played it.
My hype died because of all the negativity around it. Not that I was buying into it. It irritated me
That's fair.
that there was so much negative voice around what they were doing, and I don't see any fault to what they did. But I remember, Kevin and I, we made on this stage, we made a little reactions video. And so you had some initial
time
like,
ago.
it was forever ago. Initially, I think you were a little bit more on board than you ended up being
Oh, yeah.
towards the end. So what changed?
The
for
more
you?
I learned about it from all their little things, correct me if I'm saying this wrong, is it Gigamaxing or Gigantamaxing? Doesn't matter.
As someone who didn't play, I don't know.
Oh, you didn't play?
Well, I
I've-
played for a little while. I played a
I've
couple hours.
Gigamaxed.
Okay.
Gigamax?
Like that
Gigantamax?
whole
I don't
like
know.
that
I think it's
mechanic just
Gigamax.
totally I lost interest with that. I was like, just continue Mega Evolutions and
No, it's actually
forms.
Gigantamax, which
Is it
sounds like the
Gigantamax?
joke version of
Stupid.
it.
Yeah, I guess. So.
I just that I was like, and then when it's not all the Pokemon, I was like, Can't carry over. And I was like, I'm skipping this one. I have so many other games to play.
Yeah, I'd be interested if
So-
you actually spent some time with it. If you would end up going like, oh, okay, it's not that
Well,
bad.
during Game Club, I saw so many kids playing. I was like, oh, I kind of want to play because they were battling.
It
and I was
does
like,
have that appeal, I think,
Yeah.
where it's really easy to look at a glance and go, oh, I just want to get sucked in.
Yeah.
again.
I was like, I would love to play, but I was like, nope.
It's an attractive looking game.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can
Yeah, I
look
like
at it
the
and definitely
character
go, I want to
models and
play.
stuff. There's some really cool stuff. I'm getting to that point in it, though, where it's like I'm starting to get out leveled by the wild Pokemon and the gym. Like I finally died at my first gym, and I'm like, well, not died, but
Knocked
you know.
out.
Yeah.
You blacked out.
And I'm
You
like,
show up
"Ah."
somewhere
Yeah, I
randomly.
lost to Opal, who's like a 900-year-old woman who uses like fairy type and
Spoilers. Oh, you lost to Opal.
Yeah.
All right, I
think
thought you were
it's
saying
Opal.
something in the story. I was like, what?
No. How
Dare you?
Story.
All right. How did you skip Tetris 99? I'm just saying. It's on your
Oh, I
list.
skipped it because I
Cool
wasn't sure
game.
if it actually came out in February. It was announced in
Oh.
February. I think that's why. But I think it came out in February. I'm sorry. We can go back to February.
No, we don't have to go back. Don't go back.
Okay, good.
That's fine.
Play Tetris 99 because it's fun.
It's fun.
Or don't.
Or
And
don't.
they added DLC, and you could get stuff that you missed.
Or you can pay $10 and play it offline, which is silly.
It's Tetris.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I have Puyo Tetris.
It's like the one
Tetris.
game that you can go back to
Puyo
the
Puyo.
Game Boy version and play, and
That's true.
you're not going to feel like, oh, this old version sucks because it's just the same. It's just Tetris.
Well, if you want to
Tetris.
play Tetris with annoying anime characters that yell everything, play Puyo Tetris. It's
No,
like
I'm good.
Tetris with all that annoyance. Also,
Crazy anime stuff going
Puyo,
on.
which is a game I still haven't figured out how to play. So,
I'd rather play Tetris Attack.
oh my god!
What
Actually,
a great game.
best Tetris game was the DS version.
There was a DS version of Tetris
There's a
Attack.
DS version for Tetris.
Oh,
Tell me-
wait. Was that the one with all the Nintendo theme stuff?
Maybe.
Tetris Attack, yeah.
No.
No.
Oh.
No, it was
Yeah, I
on the
think
DS
it-
or 3DS.
No, it's DS. It's just
Yeah.
called. Yeah. I
Hold
think.
on. I'm going to
I'll
look
look
it
it
up
up.
in a second. It was
Um,
great. If we're thinking the same one, it was great.
With the multiplayer where you could play wirelessly, and
I
it
think
would like
so.
inverse the player's Tetris board underneath yours on the second screen, and you would like push each other back and forth. It was pretty awesome. All right, well they're looking up Tetris. Let's move into the
Tetris
other.
Spirits and Smash.
Yeah, the other events in
Relating
June.
on. Did you find it? Is that it?
Excuse me.
Probably.
Other events in
not
June
DS.
were, of course, E3,
Whatever. It's not important.
which gave us the next DLC characters for Smash. They kind of bookended the
was
E3
great.
presentation.
Kevin lost his mind.
Kevin lost his mind and his marbles for Hero and Banjo.
Kevin lost
No,
mine a
mostly
long time
Banjo. Hero
ago.
was cool. Hero was like leaked rumor.
So
whatever.
walk us through. Were you
we
underwhelmed
just-
when they started that presentation?
No,
And you
I
were like-
wasn't. So when they started the Hero trailer part, I was kind of like, what are they doing? Is this like an expansion to World of Light? But I was like, they would not do that. And then I follow the leaks a lot for Smash because I can't help it. But Hero was rumored for a while. And then I was like, this has got to be Fire Emblem, or not Fire Emblem, Dragon Quest. And then it was. And it's like, all right, cool. This is great. I like that there are 4 skins.
I think
Or
there's more than 4.
well, there's 4 main ones. And then they have alternate.
Oh, I
Because
thought
there's
they were
four characters from different Dragon Quest games, and they each have 2
two
color
costumes.
swaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my big one was at the end of that direct.
Which was such a beautiful
When it's so
fake
good,
out.
so good. As soon as you saw that Jiggy go bing bing bing, though, if you were paying attention,
Oh, I
you
mean,
knew
it
who
was hard
Banjo
to
was.
miss.
It was great.
But they kind of do like a psych out at the end where it's everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be Banjo," and it's just like a really jerkish
it-
duck hunt dog and duck. But then, yeah, Banjo comes in at
Banjo
last
falls
minute.
and comes-
I remember
it's
the
great.
reaction video from the
great.
Nintendo store in New York went like ape shit crazy watching that.
Probably smelled bad.
Hey now.
Just saying, I used to work there. I worked there the first summer. I helped open that store, so I could say those things.
you
probably
worked at the
didn't know
Nintendo
that.
store?
Yep, I opened it.
We've got
2005.
we've got 6 episodes and you haven't mentioned that before?
I never said this.
No.
Oh, I still have the shirt. Oh yeah, I know the interior layout and
I
everything.
want that shirt.
No, you cannot have it. It's mine. Yep,
breaking
I
into
actually
his
still
house.
have the paperwork from getting hired there.
Oh my god. Wow.
I opened it that summer, but I left because I had to start. I wanted to start school, and they offered me like, "Oh, do you want to be one of the reps who like go around to like GameStop, Best Buy, Target?" And I was like, "No." I was
Yes.
like, "I cannot." And that was a dream of mine when I was young and worked
Yeah,
at Toys R
mine
Us.
too.
I was like, I would love to do that, but I was like, money.
I always asked my gaming rep, like, how could I have your job?
Right, same.
And they were always like, you
I
don't
never
want my
mentioned
job.
this ever?
No.
No.
Oh man,
There's a parallel universe where we don't know Kevin.
Wow.
Join us
Because-
next year where Kevin takes over the podcast because he's been closer to Nintendo than any of us.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There was one time there, Reggie was in there, and I acted like it wasn't a big deal, and I regret not like going up to him and shaking his hand and like getting a picture with him. regrets.
Were you like nonchalant around him? He
So
was like,
one day
"Hey,
we'll have to have
Reg,
a podcast like
so-
tales from Kevin's experience over Nintendo because I have a lot of stories.
we got a
Oh.
new segment.
Yeah, there we go. All
Met
right.
Miyamoto.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Got him to sign something.
Join us next week where Kevin regales how he.
We're not filming next week.
I'm sorry. Okay. Moving on. Let's hold on a
Maybe
second. Hold on.
we are. Surprise.
Kevin, for as excited as you were
All
about
right, banjo.
Yes, no, we
love it.
Yeah, keep yelling it.
So excited.
Okay, highlight it in the doc. Thank you.
Can I bold it?
We're also missing the one that's all in caps a little bit further down. If you want to.
What is it?
For everyone out listening, Kevin
Oh,
also didn't
yes.
join the doc until the document we're in until about 5 minutes ago.
I didn't know you were reading it.
How am I also going to down the rundown?
All right, hold on. Be quiet for a second. All right, so No More Heroes 3 was teased. I got super excited. Lost my mind. I go on. I'm sorry.
No, I was going for the one underneath it.
I know. I'm getting hyped.
Kevin being the showrunner now.
Kevin, talk.
like
yeah.
mid
We should
show.
take turns.
I'm all for it. I offered it up, and no one
That'd be
wanted to
horrible.
take
No,
it.
no, I would be horrible. You're the.
Are you?
Well, I was the
All right,
showrunner
so,
for the first 2 seconds.
Was this the very end of? This was the very end of
Yes,
E3, right?
it
The
was. It
Nintendo
was
Direct.
Yeah.
So they teased this. They teased. Everybody knows what the heck I'm going to talk about. They teased the Breath of the Wild sequel is now in development. Blah 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 blah.
But
Trailer's
pretty,
awesome.
Pretty extensive trailer.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, not revealing as
Not-
far as
Like the more
story
people
elements and
analyzed that, there was stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
But the like fact that hey, we're making this game, and they showed a little bit of footage, everybody lost their damn mind, and everybody's foaming at the mouth for more footage because everybody thought Game Awards, they'll show something. Nothing happened.
No, of course.
So people were like, ugh. So it's like, when are we going to see this again? When is it coming out?
as long as they don't take as long as they did with
Oh, there's
Breath
no
of the
way.
Wild. I mean, that crossed
No
console
way.
generations. It
Yeah.
took so long to come
That
out.
game got pushed back like 2 or 3 times. That
Yeah.
reminded me like Twilight Princess when that got pushed back. But they're using the same engine. I don't,
Which is fine.
I love
I just-
that
I
art
don't-
style. I love
I
that
don't
engine.
think.
Yeah, it looks great.
honestly,
Yeah.
I think it'll be E3 next year until we hear something.
I'm sure we'll
No,
hear
they're
like
not gonna wait that
sprinklings in
long.
between.
I don't.
They're
I don't
totally
think,
gonna-
I don't think they will. I don't see. I think they want to stage.
But they know people are gonna like.
I know they are, and so think of the hype going into E3 next year. I don't think it's going to be a January direct. I don't think it's going to be a May
Actually-
direct, a spring direct. I don't think so.
I
That would
could
be
see
my
why
guess.
they hold it to draw attention away from. Well, not draw attention away from Microsoft and Sony, but at least keep them
is what
Nintendo
they did
in the
originally
conversation
with Breath of the
and
Wild.
like in the hype, whatever.
And I mean, with
So.
with Zelda though, they don't really need to like keep releasing footage to keep hype up.
Show
Like
something, though.
this
And
was,
that's the
they could
thing.
release nothing else until this game comes out.
They can honestly
and it will
just
retain hype.
mention stuff in interviews, like little tidbits, and people
Just
go
say the
nuts
word
over
Zelda.
that.
They'll do that. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the original Breath of the Wild. How
many trailers
monumental
did we get?
each trailer became from, and just
And the last one was the best.
Oh my God,
I watched
I mean-
that. I watched that so many times. I still get chills. It's
I'm getting
great.
chills right now thinking about the
No,
chills
but
I
it's
had.
cold.
when I
It's,
first
it's
got
like
it.
32 degrees in this
It's
room.
cold, that too.
That trailer is amazing. That trailer is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
I love that trailer.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So Breath of the Wild 2, hopefully we'll get some information next year. I'm going to say E3 of next year. Kevin's going to hope for earlier.
Yes, Kevin is
got
hoping
some
for
teasers
earlier.
of next gen
We'll hope.
consoles coming. We got some more of the Game Awards like we talked. Releases for the month: Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which finally got a big patch on the Switch. They've been promising some updates because it had been running poorly. So I just picked up that game. I'm hoping to get into it maybe over break. Crash Team Racing, which Joe highlighted because he loves it and wants to talk about it extensively.
I don't joke like that. Don't let
Doesn't
our
say
viewers
that on
think
the
that.
document.
No, it says, quote, please don't make me relive this. Joe, regale us.
We had a small level 30 gathering where we played some Crash Team Racing, and I think we got one race in, and before the end of the race, everyone went, "Why? Why are we doing that?" And we were all
Not only
used
that,
to.
but also, why aren't we just playing Mario Kart?
Yeah, honestly, like why weren't we just playing? Like, there's no mechanics in Crash Team Racing that were not outdone by Mario Kart. Like, it seemed like Mario Kart for people who don't want to like Mario Kart. So they played that instead.
I remember vividly, and when we play Mario Kart, we're always competing for 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Like the top 4 spots. And this
We
was
are
like,
all
this
very
was
good
the
at
end
Mario Kart.
we worked from the bottom up. We were absolutely horrendous at this game.
Yeah.
And so I put out a really positive review, and I would like to formally now rescind that review. Initially I had fun with it. I liked the Diddy Kong racing style of like driving around to get to different races and certain unlockables. And like initially I'm like, oh, this actually has like a pretty hardy challenge to it. And it just turns out that I couldn't grasp the mechanics, and I
remember you
didn't
talking
like
about
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I didn't get rid of it already, maybe I did. I think I traded it in.
I'm pretty sure you
I
said you
can't
did get
give
rid
it
of
a
it.
strong recommendation anymore. I
And
got to mark up that review in the channel and just say don't actually watch this.
yeah, honestly, like update
Play
it
Mario
or something.
Kart.
I mean, like my argument's the same as yours. Like we are all very good at Mario Kart, and we all, like you said, we compete for the top 4, the top 3 places. But all the computer players were the top 4
Yeah.
in
And-
Crash.
and
Like
the
we
middle
did
4 and
miserably.
yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. So
so
maybe we're
So
all
play
just
Mario
bitter.
Kart 8 Deluxe,
Play
everybody.
Mario Kart. I would still like to give Sonic Racing a chance. That seemed to be fun. But I don't know.
Play that.
It's on sale for like $20 maybe.
You know what
Whatever.
needs extra DLC? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
You know what needs Mario DLC more is Mario Party. Let's just wait for Mario Kart 9 there because we know that's going to be hopefully coming soon.
I disagree.
Maybe. I
But
disagree also.
Ooh,
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling like crazy still.
I just hate Mario Party.
Yeah, which means it doesn't even need any DLC to warrant people buying it more.
I will spend more money on
There
it.
just
of
needs
course
to
it
be
will.
a Mario Kart 9.
Yeah,
Like
or
they don't
Mario
need to,
Kart, Nintendo All Stars. Whatever.
Well,
We're
it'd
going
just
on
be
tangents.
Nintendo Kart. It wouldn't even be Mario
I
Kart.
know,
at that
but I
point.
don't think they'll call it that. Because
No, they
Mario
wouldn't.
Kart is
No, because
like,
then it's going to become the expectations of it's like Smash, but for Mario Kart.
yeah.
Could you
Maybe they
imagine a
won't do
Smash
that.
roster with like unique tracks and carts to drive through?
Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
Okay,
That would take
Kevin's getting
longer
way
than-
too excited here.
that would take longer than Breath of the Wild to come out.
Yep, it'll come out in three gens from now.
I'd be cool with Mario Kart as a service.
No,
Not the way they're doing it now.
No, not the phone
I
thing
mean,
you're talking
like
about, right?
just
But
drop
yeah,
the number, create a
that-
game called Mario Kart, and
they
just
constantly add to
perpetually
it.
update it. Like you don't need to come out with the game and come out with
Yeah.
Mario Kart 9 and give us all your characters. Here's your
So
4
as a
DLC
subscription
characters.
service.
No.
We've already So
I'm not paying for any more.
No, he means like, okay, let's say it's Mario Kart and it has some subtitle. You buy a cartridge, and as they continually add to it, you automatically have access to everything.
Yeah, it's called
Where they
free
don't have to-
DLC, and
Yeah.
Just keep updating is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
don't
like,
come
keep
out
it
with Mario
fresh.
Kart 8, do 2 or 3 DLCs,
well,
and then call
the
it a day.
Mario Kart 8 on
Like,
the
you
Wii
continually
U
add to it.
didn't have the last 2 circuits in it. It was originally just the
It also
6.
didn't have battle mode.
Didn't have battle mode, and I think it added like Link and some other.
It also you only carried one item at a
yes.
time.
Yep.
And
They
fixed
they
that.
tweaked it. But what I'm saying is, like, that game originally was, I think, a little underwhelming in regards to the track selection too, even though it was super fun. So
Yeah.
once I remember buying that TLC and just waiting for those presents to unwrap on the on the Wii U. So I don't know. That's fine, but don't get Crash Team Racing. Do get Super Mario Maker 2. That came out that month as well. July. I don't want to say slightly underwhelming because it wasn't. Actually, some big
Yeah,
hardware
some big
announcements.
things in there, yeah.
Let's get through the boring stuff because Dr. Mario came out on our phones.
That's not
and
boring to everybody. Just saying.
It's boring to most people.
Just saying. Some people like Dr. Mario.
No, I love Dr. Mario on the NES.
Oh, was it not
Classic.
good on the iOS?
It was a different type of game. It wasn't a puzzle. I mean, it was a puzzle game, but it was not Dr.
It was
Mario.
well done.
Dragon Quest Builders 2, which is excellent. I played the demo. It's fantastic. I played the first one a lot. That was a really fun game to get into. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That doesn't seem right. I thought that came out in August.
To the internet.
To the internet we go. Fire Emblem Three Houses came
internet.
out in July, and it was
Tom loves it.
a game of the year for me, without question. I won't get into it too much other to say than
Watch his review.
watch my review. And it's in the top 5.
July 19th.
Okay, so it was. I remember that was a game where I was like, I'm not going to get it because it's right before Fire Emblem.
And then you got
Didn't
it.
you
and
get
then
it?
played the
Yeah.
hell out of it.
What's that?
You played the hell
I
out of it.
liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think it'd be more fun if we can have another level 30 hangout and play it again because it's just kind of a mindless
Is it like
hack
a
and
beat 'em
slash.
up? Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's a beat 'em up where you play as like
Hold on.
X-Men. Like that's pretty cool.
I couldn't possibly care less about Marvel.
There's
so
a problem on this list. Where the heck is
I mean, if I
Castle
could beat up
Crashers?
the actual Marvel
Master?
characters.
Kevin's finally now editing the doc that he's had all day.
That
to
came out in
do.
September, didn't it?
Thank you for
Sure,
joining the
why
party.
not? Yeah, no, thank you.
can't type, though.
Also, big
too
in
cold.
July, the Switch Lite was announced.
Seems like so much more recent, but that does make sense. July was the month that we collectively went, I don't need it, but I might buy it
I
anyway.
want it.
Yeah,
It's new
we did
hardware.
that a lot, right?
I
we
remember
do
going
it,
to GameStop and I was like, oh, this is cool.
that yellow and blue. They
And
look
I was
so
like,
pretty.
Yeah, they
Nope,
do.
don't want it.
And
Really
a
do.
friend of mine bought the yellow, and I went, that's the one I wanted. Can I have it?
Can't have
she
it.
said no.
I'm like, oh man.
August brought us Astral Chain and Daemon X Machina, a game I really wanted to like.
Me too.
And we'll might pick up when it's like on a super cheap sale someday, but like it just didn't play
getting
well for
DLC.
me. Yeah.
I gotta say, I do feel bad for not picking up the game, or at least not giving it a better chance, because I played the demo, and
the first demo or the second demo?
the first demo.
Okay,
So
second
you-
demo improved a lot of things.
Which is what I've been hearing, which what I've heard from everybody. But the first demo, like it wasn't bad. Like the game was fun, but there were so many things that were missing. Like I think once you got knocked out of your mech, you can't get back into it.
I don't remember.
and I could not figure out how to take down the final boss of the demo, which might not have been possible, but you would get knocked out of your mech and you can't get back into it, and then the whole thing's kind of beat. But I heard they improved on a lot of it and made it less convoluted feeling in general.
Okay.
Which is cool, but at that point I was like, I enjoyed the game to some extent. I don't feel like getting the demo. So, and I mean, it's not their fault that the first demo kind of ruined it for me.
No, they were actually pretty honest in, hey, here's our demo. And then they would ask for, like, they did the feedback survey,
Yeah.
you know, and they made a lot of improvements that people had talked about, which is great that they were listening. I'm just bummed it didn't translate well to a final product.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So-
magnificent that they did that. I mean, the only other time you really hear about that happening is with the Sonic movie, which we won't talk about
Which
the
that
original
studio
version.
got shut down, apparently.
No, I think anytime they're doing a new IP, they want to make sure they try and get stuff right. I think it also just the game itself came out at a really bad time because it was sandwiched between Fire Emblem and Astral Chain.
And
I don't think it
everything
stood a
else in
chance.
And then the
September.
Next to
entire
Astral
month of
Chain.
September. Because September brought us Ni no Kuni, which is a great game, Link's Awakening, Dragon
is a
Quest
great game.
11,
Great game. Great game.
Castle Crashers Remastered,
Great game.
Untitled Goose Game,
Great game.
Yes.
and then there was a Nintendo Direct
I need to play it.
announced
I still haven't.
um,
I cannot wait to play it.
where we got Super Nintendo games. They announced Animal Crossing as well as Xenoblade Chronicles as a remaster coming out next year.
Third time that game's coming out, right?
Yes.
Technically.
The Wii, then the 3DS. Sorry, the new 3DS, and then now the
Mm-hmm.
Switch. So September was a rough month for wallets across the board because I think I bought all of those games with the exception of Goose Game.
I spent a lot of money in that month.
Yeah, and that's the hardest
A
month for
lot.
us because we just got through the summer without a real paycheck, and now
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, hey, buy all these games.
Spend all this money.
I know, Joe. We don't have to buy them, but we do.
No, that's not my
We
point.
do. Consumer. where
Which
I
is
wanna
fine
say.
because Link's Awakening, Dragon Quest 11, both made my game of the year or top 5 list of the year, and are fantastic games. I can't say enough good things about Dragon Quest 11.
I need to play it. When I
You
watched
need
your
to play it.
top 5, I was like, oh man, when
It's
am I going to play
really
this game?
good.
Okay. Should I
Really
play
good.
that and like hold off on the game I forgot the name about already? That's a JRPG use Tales of Vesperia.
Yes. Oh, that question.
Play Dragon Quest
Absolutely.
first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't even. Yeah.
It's like Return Tales of Vesperia.
If you play Tales of Vesperia, play it for an hour and then play Dragon Quest for an hour and then just go not going back.
Okay.
Yeah, see which one you want to keep playing.
Yeah. So busy month, awesome month. I finally have A Link to the Past on my Switch, and that's fantastic. October brought us Overwatch, The Witcher 3. We finally got the full reveal and release of Little Town Hero.
Can I be completely honest?
Yeah.
I didn't know Little Town Hero came out.
Yeah, and it's
I actually had no idea that released.
it's getting okay reviews. The battle system they say is great, but also is problematic because there's a lot of stuff left to chance.
Okay.
And you can't fast forward or skip any of the animations. So it's possible that like you can do a battle that's 40 minutes and then you get like a coin flip that skews in the wrong direction and all of a sudden you lose and now have to do that all over again. So I'm kind of like that's on my radar and it's reasonably priced for a game that looks
Is it
as
20?
nice. I think it's $24.99.
I haven't played that game, but the art style is
Yeah, I
very
think it's
cool
great.
looking.
That's one of those things where if it gets patched and it gets updated and there's like a battle speed, option or a, hold down the fast forward option, that might be something I go, all right, that's kind of cool. Because it is like a smaller, shorter game, and I think, I want to, it looked really cool. Resident Evil 5-6 came out, Call of Duty, Luigi's Mansion 3. So we're getting into that onslaught like September, October of here's all the stuff for holidays and all the stuff that you hope will be on sale for Black Friday. We talked about Luigi's Mansion 3 already. Witcher 3, good game, but way too big for me. And Overwatch.
Mario
I
and
played for
Sonic,
an hour and I was
really fun.
I was gonna pick that up when it came out because like my Gamers Club Unlocked from Best Buy was expiring, and I was like, well, I might as well get one more game. And it was on sale if you pre-ordered it, but at retail it was full price, and I'm like, I'm not spending $60 on it, so I shied away from it. I would like to give it a shot. I thought it would have been one of those fun games to like take home over Thanksgiving and play with family.
Yeah.
But we just ended up playing Smash the whole time, which was kind of cool. So yeah, but that was November. Pokemon and Mario and Sonic. December, not a whole heck of a lot. And you know what?
That's okay.
That is okay.
Wallet needs to recuperate.
Finally,
Yeah, I've got to buy stuff for everybody else rather than games for myself in December.
Right. I started to go through the shelf of my Switch games that is nothing but unopened games. And I'm starting to go
Man,
through
to do
some
that.
now.
Big
Even
time.
though I'm on the last boss of Dragon Quest and I keep dying. It's frustrating. So I'm taking a little break from it. started playing Slay the Spire, which is a roguelike card game. It's pretty awesome. Very, very addicting. And just one more time through, one more time through, one more time through.
That's like me with Everspace. It was always
Yeah.
one more time through, one more time through, one more time through.
Right. So that's really cool. I'm enjoying that. So I'll give you guys time to think since neither of you filled this part out.
No.
You guys are terrible at this.
Sorry.
You got to put like prompts in there to like, hey, here's the thing you need to fill out.
Well, if you read the whole thing, you'll
All right,
come
Tom, what's your
across
top
it.
five?
You literally texted us last night and
Go.
said, hey, look through it tomorrow, while
I
you're
got a
at
very
work.
late start in this. I know.
texted
Sorry.
us last
So
night.
anyway, the question for everyone is
Whoops,
like, what
didn't
were
see that.
your games of the year, and was there anything that stood out as being like the biggest story of the year from a gaming standpoint? And there's a lot of stuff there. The Switch Lite for me, hardware-wise, was really cool. Even though I didn't get one, but I'm hoping it. Nintendo's always good at reiterating on hardware, and I think they nailed it with this design, and it's clearly selling well, which is excellent. Super Nintendo games being accessible, and I think we got the extra set they promised in December, right?
Yeah, they announced it, and it released later, but it's released.
I think it was early in
It was like
December.
this week.
So when they announced it, they said,
Or
all right,
last
but we're
week.
not going to do monthly releases for this anymore.
Right.
Now it seems kind of random. They were like, here's 4 games in December.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with it. Again, there's so much.
I'd rather
to
have
play.
like, boom, here's like 10 games total than like, here's 2 a month. And
Well, I think there's something to be said about looking forward to,
Yeah.
when the new ones get announced. I think Stadia was worth mentioning as a story because it flopped pretty hard, but it's got Google's backing, so I'm sure it'll try.
And then they'll shut it down in like a year. And that's kind of Google's biggest problem right now with Stadia, that nobody knows how long it's going to be around because Google has a tendency to shut down their services.
Right.
Microsoft has a tendency to rename their services, which is less of a big deal than just taking Stadia and going, well, we don't really have the backing for this, and just shut it down. Like, it's fine. I mean, this is going to be more of a moneymaker than their other
horrible.
services that they're going to shut down. I don't think it's in as much jeopardy as people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I don't
But
think so
realistically, if you have this company that's like, known for doing it, even though they're not likely to do it, they're still known for doing it. Or you can go with one of the other 2 companies who are experienced in it and are not known for shutting down all of their services.
Yeah.
Why not go with everybody that you can? But if you have a choice, they're going to go with Microsoft and they're going to go with Sony. And
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
think they should.
Sony also, I have
us more,
their cable service, and they're shutting that down. So it's not to say that if things aren't working well, they'll give it up. I mean, they don't. Microsoft's more known to have lost leaders. Well, they'll say, all right, this is going to lose money for a little while until we can get it the way we want to, and then really let it do its thing, and people will talk about it. Xbox Live was kind of that way for a long while too when the original Xbox came out. So
Microsoft's also winning I don't want to say winning, but they're doing very well in the cloud game as far as cloud infrastructure.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're really hedging their bets on a lot of stuff, gearing up for what's next for them, and I think that's going to bode extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, Azure's doing better than Amazon Web Services as far as cloud infrastructure goes. So if they're proving to everybody else, hey, we have the infrastructure to really handle all of these games, then it shows that, we're more reliable, you're better off coming with us. So they also kind of have that backing where you can stream games locally rather than just over the internet, and I think that helps a lot too.
Sure.
So, but I mean, in my opinion, they have more stuff going for them than Google does with Stadia, but I'm biased. I like Microsoft a lot more than Google. So,
So we'll see. Time will tell. And then just quickly to recap as Kevin starts to fill things out. Thanks, Kev. So we'll go to you next.
I filled out a lot just now.
Just games of the year. I think it's always we play so many things, and sometimes we play things for a lot longer than others, or we give something a shot and realize it's not for us, but we sampled it enough to say, not really feeling this. Fire Emblem Three Houses was my game of the year without question. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Gameplay was great. Story was awesome. And everyone was voice cast, which is just so rare. Dragon Quest XI was my runner-up, and then Astral Chain, Link's Awakening, and Luigi's Mansion round out the bottom part of that. Again, check out the video on the YouTube channel if you want to get the full recap with a little bit more depth. But if you haven't played any of those games, make it a point to. And I know 2 hefty tactical role-playing games and role-playing games are not anyone's cup of tea in the level 30 club because they're so long to play. Fire Emblem took me about 65 hours, and I'm 55 into Dragon Quest. That's a large chunk of time. And if I really wanted to cheat it, I started Persona 5 in January of 2018.
You played the heck out of that game.
And I didn't finish it until this year.
It's like me with Breath of the Wild.
Well, but I mean, it's
my goal of a break.
110
Gotta
hours,
finish that
and that's
game.
just the story. There's no like,
That's crazy.
There's no exploration. This is just like that's how long it takes to play the game, and I didn't even do end game stuff. I loved
Too
it.
long for that kind of game.
So that kind of time.
The art style of that game's great though.
Gorgeous. I can't wait for the Switch thingy they're doing. So Kevin, run through some of your
All right,
games.
some of my
stories.
highlights.
Yeah.
Some of my highlights. Anybody who's watched this podcast knows I got Everspace on the Switch and I love it. It's great. It's a roguelite.
I always get
Rogue-ish,
confused.
whatever.
Rogue thingy.
It's a cool space game. They're making a sequel, but I have to buy another system to get that. The SNES controller that was announced to go with the service.
Oh yeah, I picked up 2 of those.
I got forks. I'm crazy, and I was super hyped about it. What podcast was that? It was like 3 podcasts ago, I think, or something. Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, got crazy about. Watched that a bunch of times. The Smash support throughout the year, I really like.
Yeah, I think that deserves
Just
some
like-
mention because every character's they've immense
hyped it up.
fanfare. Yeah, and then of course
Plus,
they
like
announced-
most characters they announced other update stuff with.
Yeah,
And they all
which I
had-
know the updates are done, right? Other
Well,
than maybe some character
As
balancing.
far as we know,
Okay.
who knows what they're gonna do? They're
Well, we
making
know
more
the
characters.
Yeah, the Fighter Pass 2 is coming out next year.
Yeah,
so.
and we still don't know who 5 is, but whatever. Soon. I mean, this year was crazy because I have 14 plus games I need to play still that I haven't touched yet, which I've never had that problem in my life, having a back catalog like that.
Oh, I think 14 would be. I'll have to go home and count.
So
but I'm probably right there with you.
crazy amount of games this year that I bought and haven't got to play yet. And I just remembered while typing that I still have Cave Story Plus,
Oh, I have that.
which I played on the Wii
Can't
U
get into it.
or Wii.
I gotta do it for a
really
little
want to
bit.
like it.
That
I
game's
can't get
so
into
cool.
it. Really want to like it.
And I bought it for the Switch. And when Toys R Us was closing, I bought extra copies just in case because they were like $10.
Oh,
So I have a
You're
couple.
insane.
Yes, yes, I am.
As long as you're aware.
Because one day I will sell it to somebody who really wants it.
See, I'm excited.
Joe.
So some of my backlog games
That
are
game's so cool.
City Skylines for the Switch, which I know I'm gonna like, and then Civilization, which I actually played for like a whole weekend, like an entire nonstop weekend, because Civilization is just addicting for me. But those are games like I know I'll get into hardcore like that and then fall off of immediately, but then pick up on like a snow day or something. So like those games I'm not too worried about in my backlog because they're just kind of like always perpetually being played. So Joe, how about you? Anything jump out?
Well, I mean, my game of the year is very obviously Metal Gear Solid 5.
I would say Metal Gear.
No.
I was like, he's gonna say Metal Gear or Borderlands.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I haven't played a lot of games that were from this year. So
Yeah.
and I hype myself up too high on Borderlands, and as much as I enjoy it, I wouldn't put it in Game of the Year spot.
Fair.
That said, maybe I didn't hype myself up enough on Link's Awakening because that would be, I don't think that's the game of the year. It is my personal game of the year. I just had way more fun than I had any right to have with that game for a game that I've played before and I don't want to say knew the ins and outs of, but
Well, you knew the
recognized
story too.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I guess
It's
at
just
the time was a big reveal.
it was a very well done game. Other than some of the frame rate issues, it was just very well done, and I very much enjoyed it. For like highlights and stories and stuff, we touched on Stadia already, which was kind of one of my big things. Stadia and Xbox's xCloud streaming, which I didn't get to use too much of because I don't have an actual I don't have a Bluetooth Xbox controller. But it's got lower specs off the bat than Stadia does right now. But it's just Microsoft showing like, okay, here's where we're at. We can do this cleanly and do it right. Now let's take the next step up from 720 to 1080. And now we can do this. Now that we can do 1080, we'll do 1080 60 and 4K and blah, blah, blah. So they've done really, really well with that. And I think they're going to do better than Google, in my opinion.
So would that relay into stuff that you're looking forward to for next year as those services expanding?
I'm looking forward to game streaming now way more than I was before. As someone who's in the technology field, I for some reason tend to be like, the old man yells at cloud kind of person. Where
Yeah.
like this new stuff is coming out, I don't like it because I'm so used to the stuff that I know how to do and that I know and that's working. But I mean, if game streaming works well and the latency is low enough to really play, it's going to take all of the waiting out of downloading and installing a game. Like I can play it now. I could deal with like a 5-minute like preload buffer time before you can really start. But if I could just jump into a game, I think that's awesome. And if I could host that game at home and play it on the go from my home internet connection, I would love that.
Too.
That would be
I can't
awesome.
tell you how frustrating like playing Call of Duty with my brother is because we both have busy lives and schedules, and he'll be like, "Oh, you want to play tonight?" And I'll be like, "Sure." I'll get home and he'll be playing and I'm trying to join and it's like, oh, you need to download a 16 gigabyte patch. And I'm like, but I've already downloaded like 7 of these every other day and I need like 2 gigabytes of free space in order for it to act, and it's just like, it's such a headache.
I don't turn on my Xbox all that often, and when I got Borderlands, I had to set it to like the standby mode where it doesn't fully shut down, so that it would keep updated. Because otherwise, every time I turn on my Xbox, I have an update.
Yeah.
And by the time it installs, I don't really want to, or I don't even have the time to play anymore. Like sometimes I have half an hour, and 25 minutes of it is downloading and installing games. So if they could just give me a box that sits in my, a cheap box that's just like a thin client, that's just a dumb machine for streaming. That would be pretty awesome.
Well, that'll be in the Xbox Series X line of consoles, I'm sure.
It very well might be. And it might tie into the way, like something that would be good to do is the way Steam does it, which is all of your other games download updates while you're playing something else. And my games are pretty much always up to date.
Every time you cough, I wonder, what's over there, Tom?
Nothing.
It looks like you're looking at something.
I'm not coughing into my mic.
It's Tom not caring about me and my PC games.
No, that's not true. I just know that we're running super long on time.
Yeah, whatever.
What are any wild predictions that we're thinking are coming for this year?
Mr. Prediction.
I mean, my SNES
Prediction.
controller one was pretty good. I'm just saying. The Switch Pro price cut. I don't think it's happening on. I saw you have price cut on there.
I think it will maybe
this
for
holiday?
This holiday next year.
Oh, yeah,
2020.
maybe.
I can see
If
next
they release a
holiday.
Pro or a revision model, like a legit revision, that I could see.
If they release a Pro, I would expect
They'll clear
price
out
cut.
inventory.
But
But they'll have to, otherwise they'll have to compete with the new consoles.
I would, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if it drops to
They are
249.
coming out next year.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it'll get crazy. Like I don't think we're going to see Switch Lights at 129 and Switch, normals at 199.
The only way they'll
249 and maybe 179.
They don't like
on
to sell
both those
hardware at a
things.
loss.
They won't.
don't.
They
don't.
flat out refuse.
Yeah.
Which is fine because if it's moving enough numbers for them to be happy, then that they're okay with that.
I wonder. So wait, if the 2 next gen systems are next year, that could be our Switch Pro year. If they're going to announce it, like that's the year to
It would be
announce
the
it.
wisest time because I
Yeah.
think they can do a Switch Pro that'll be more expensive than the current model, but still less expensive than the PS5 and the Xbox. So I think that's a win-win for them. Like, hey, all you Switch people, here's the new version. It'll cost you $400.
But Kevin will still buy
But
two.
that Xbox is
I only have one
$600, and this is much better.
have two.
I don't know. I think there's at some point.
I can't see Nintendo selling a system for $400. They have a thing with prices.
That's true, and they do. But I think everyone predicted the Switch to initially come out
And it was
at
$300.
most at $249.
Yeah.
Most people pegged
remember
$199,
that.
and it was still more than most people thought it was going to be. So, I mean, obviously the tech's less expensive, and who knows? I mean, they're going to be at a point now where, like,
like, what do you do?
We're getting PS4 and Xbox One ports, and they don't look great, but developers are going to be shifting away from those consoles in the next year.
Yeah.
So like, there's no way a PS5 game is going to run on this system without some major hardware overhaul. So we'll see. I don't know. I think that's realistic. Any particular franchises or games you'd like to see coming next year?
Am I going first?
Sure.
You go first.
Okay. And this 2020,
Mm-hmm.
Metroid. Prime 4 could happen. I don't know.
I don't think.
But I don't know. I want a trailer. Maybe E3 we get a trailer for it. Like a legit
Well, I think they said
trailer.
it was the beginning of the year, January. They scrapped it.
Yeah,
so they've had a full year.
Restarted.
So maybe E3 we
Well,
get
which we
something.
don't know what's going on with that logistic. We know they restarted and Retro's got it, but like that Prime Trilogy remaster was so heavily rumored, and I'm like, where is it? Like, stop holding that.
Rumored to the point where people were saying like they're sitting on it, like it's done.
Yeah.
They just have it, but they're not putting.
But
it
they're
out
not
yet.
putting it out yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, put that out. If they put that out like 6 months before Metroid Prime 4, I'm gonna be not happy.
No,
Like, I
'cause
want
you're
it
gonna be
now.
playing Metroid for a year straight.
Which is fine. I love Metroid.
Okay.
But like, I want
I've
to
never
play
been a big
because the Metroid Prime games, like where you have to scan everything, log entries, like
Oh, I'm sure.
I 100% that.
Oh, God.
That takes a while.
Oh God.
And you get it's crazy. My cousins are like, "You're nuts." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like,
You're also not a level 30 gamer if you have that kind of
Every,
time.
every log. Yeah, but remember when those games came out?
Yeah, that's true. I
played the
I
heck
got one
out
of
of
the
that.
I didn't like
GameCube,
scanning.
so
And I'm PO'd because the re-release. Well, I'm sorry, the trilogy that came out in the Wii. I scanned everything but missed one thing that you can't scan if you miss it in the game. I was like, I'm not replaying this. But when it comes out on the Switch,
I'm very sorry for your loss, guys.
No, not really.
I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what it is.
Joe, how about you? Any games you're looking for? Franchises you think can make a splash?
Honestly, no. I'm just waiting to be surprised.
Splash.
Something that
Mario Sunshine. Sorry.
as
Got some watermelon seeds on my face.
Yeah.
as predictable as it is of me, I would like to see Borderlands on Switch. I just generally as a Borderlands fan, and I think it would be cool to just play it on the go. And that's just me personally. I would buy it for another system. I just love that game. You started it by saying, "Would you play Borderlands on Switch?" And I went, "Yeah, I'd buy it again. Absolutely, no doubt, would buy it."
I would buy it for the first time.
I'd buy it if I had people to play with. I think it's more enjoyable that way.
It
we played
it is.
one of them. Was it the first one or the second one?
We played the second one. We started and we put a couple hours into it, and I would love to go back to it. I would absolutely play it again. It is definitely more fun with more people because you can get a lot more crazy with it, and you get better items and gear and whatnot. And also, it's not I'm dying. Oh well, I'm dead. Somebody can come help you out.
Right.
So it's made for multiple people. It's just it can be played by yourself. But it would be cool because if I'm on the go, I'm more likely, like if I have the time, I can jump into a random game while I'm out as well.
Lunch breaks here and just
So
play it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd be in for that. So I would play it, but I'm not expecting it or anything like that. I just think it would be pretty neat.
Okay.
Who makes that game?
Gearbox.
Software, not publishing.
Okay.
Confused.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Here's Gearbox something that has stuff on the Switch. I don't know what the difference is.
Well, one's a developer, one's a publisher.
Yeah. That's why I don't know which one has released stuff on the Switch. Whatever, we'll talk about it
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. I would play Borderlands.
Are you thinking Risk of Rain?
That's
Yes.
because that's what you're playing.
That's publishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a different developer made it. Gearbox Publishing put it out.
God.
Okay.
All right, we're running really long here on this
Sorry.
episode. No, that's fine.
Everybody, good night.
I don't mind it at all.
See ya. See you next week.
And there's really not much on our agenda to get
Maybe.
here. We kind of dabbled into. We did have a listener question. I put the post up in the community way too late yesterday, so I was talking about next generation stuff, which we kind of talked upon, but we have all next year to kind of talk about that. So Stardust, thank you for your question about Xbox and PS5, but I'm sure we'll get into that once we get some more info.
Just to make sure we answer it, we are as gamers very obviously excited
I'm ready
for all
for
of it.
But like every gamer who's into games and can now financially afford every system, I'm waiting for here's the release, here's the price, because that's one of those I don't want to drop $1,200 on two systems in November.
Also, what's the difference between them? Like, what are the differences going to be?
You know what?
What are they going to
We're going to say that
on?
for another podcast.
Every system they
Oh,
get
yeah,
closer
yeah.
hardware-wise,
Crossplay is-
but yeah.
everywhere.
Wow.
So I just wanted to take a minute now at the end to thank everyone for listening today, if you made it this far, but also for your support throughout the year. We just recently passed our 50th upload on YouTube, which I think is really awesome.
Wow,
that's awesome.
And so thank you guys for watching all those things and everyone here for being a part of those things. That
Thank you
doesn't
for
include
letting me
live
be a part of
streams.
it, Tom.
No, of course.
I'm cold. I don't want to move.
Don't move. It's okay. This
Slowly
is our
freezing
sixth
to death.
episode. We started the podcast in the middle of the summer and cranked out 6 episodes from then until now. And we're hoping to do
6.5.
6.5.
We did redo the first one.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
We did.
Oh my
6.5. There's a hidden 7th episode that no one knows about. There's also a hidden press start episode that no one knows about either.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to
Why are
press
you looking at
select
me?
to-
I'm not in it.
You have
No,
to
you're
press
not in
select to view it.
That's true.
You have to do the Konami code.
So hopefully you continue with us through the remainder of our
On your
podcasts. This will be the last one for 2019, but we'll come fresh at you in January.
So much for that one next week.
That's not happening next week.
No, I
Holidays, son. But hey, you know what?
You're the one that said it earlier.
There's always that rumored Nintendo Direct in January, and we'll try and time it shortly
please.
after that.
Yes.
But knowing our luck, we'll pick a date, and it'll be the next day. So who knows? But we're looking forward to bringing you more stuff. We're hoping we get a little bit more growth in what we do into 2020. But definitely, thank you everyone out there in internet land for your support and your
in the
comments
real
and
world.
your likes and for
Yes.
watching our stuff and knowing that we give a damn and aren't just putzing around. But we're doing this for fun and
We like people to be involved. It's fun.
yeah. So we're gonna try and expand upon some things for next year. We don't really know what's in the pipeline. That'll come at the level 30 holiday party. We'll sit down and powwow
Tom's
over
place.
Wonder Sub and
Kevin
Yes.
beating you at Smash
and
Brothers.
Kevin can destroy me in Smash Brothers. Hey, I've gotten better. I've
Yeah,
gotten
right.
better with Donkey Kong. Don't even. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up this show. Thank you all for everything. Have a wonderful holiday season. Have a wonderful new year. Be safe, and we'll catch you all.
And play
in-
some games.
Yeah, play some games, and we'll catch you all in 2020. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know what camera we're on.
No,
What
we
is it? What
normally
camera are we
start the
on?
bye. We're on one camera. We have one camera.
Oh,
camera.
well, I didn't know which
Goodbye.
ones are on. There's 3 cameras there.
There's so many cameras.
It's cold.
Okay,
Are we
let's-
wrapped?
Yeah, we're wrapped.
I have to pee so bad.
Oh my god, me too.
Oh my gosh. I'm like,
We're still recording.
well, you're gonna edit all that.
Can I nonchalantly get out of my chair and come back?